Today on Behind the Strength, we meet Dr. Mahesh Menon, a pioneer in palliative care whose work shows us that even in life's most fragile moments, there is hope, dignity, and strength. He reminds us that medicine is not just about adding days to life, but about adding meaning, comfort, and love to every day. Welcome to Behind the Strength, Dr. Menon.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank
It's
you.
a privilege to be here.
Likewise for us to have you. Dr. Menon, what inspired you to choose palliative care, a field where healing goes beyond cure?
I wouldn't say I specifically was inspired to go into palliative care, but when most people who want to start the career in medicine, I feel that a significant percentage of people who take up medicine are those who say that I want to do something good, something meaningful. It's just that they don't have that direction and they don't know how they can do it.
Correct.
And once they enter medicine, they can see all the different ways in which you can make a meaningful change in people's lives.
Absolutely.
So even if it is as something which is not clinically related, even if someone is in a field which is related to administration in healthcare, down all the way to the emergency where there is hardcore, extreme stressful situations, to neurosurgery, to the number of things that you can make a difference to people. And I started my journey actually as a family practitioner. I said, I'm not going to enter post-graduation. I'm going to set up this small little family practice clinic.
Okay.
And because I'd like to talk to people, see how I can make impact on families.
Right.
And I started that, and then everyone's like, Ajkal, MBBS is like, there's not much scope after it and things like that. And I wondered why, because that's the backbone of medicine.
You're right, yes.
And but then I took up post-graduation, and then I went into pain management.
Okay.
And I trained abroad, and I came back, I started working, and I realized that it's easy to take care of pain, but it's more difficult to take care of suffering. So that brought me back to the whole question of how can we address suffering. So it was a very inadvertent entry into the field.
Right.
Because someone had to do it, and I felt I need to show up. And I have been doing that ever since, and then I started palliative care. It's been almost 15 years now. And I think the branch found me rather than me finding it, And I like what I'm doing.
Almost like a calling.
I'd like to say that and make it sound like, super heroic and it's like the higher purpose. But I guess it teaches me a lot. And the reason why I'm still able to do it on a daily basis is because there is something that happens every day in my practice that teaches me something about. So I see someone who's dealing with a lot of difficulties, and the way they're handling themselves, the way the family is handling them, and it's really inspiring. And I'm like, okay, I there is so much strength, because every time you like if you take a phone and you look at things around us, we just see things which are negative.
Absolutely,
and there's a lot of negativity there. But
Right.
even in these times, and you rightly said that there is so much hope, there's so much dignity, and the way people conduct themselves, the way people deal with these diseases, it's very inspiring.
I'm sure. So it's like a give and take. I think you're absorbing from them and they're absorbing from you.
So I say this often to my patients. I said, I don't know आपको कितना फायदा हो रहा है, but मुझे कुछ तो अच्छा है.
Yes.
You are making my day, and it's yeah.
That's actually very kind. Was there a turning point that made you realize this was more than a profession?
I'll give an example. That's related to what I do in pain management.
Right.
Because I trained in a government setup, and in government hospitals there is an extremely high load, and most of us are fortunate not to be able to witness that kind of suffering.
Right.
Because we live in a slightly different world. But when you see that environment in a government hospital where there is a huge load of people coming in, and there is unaddressed pain, because priority is to save lives, and pain is a symptom, it's suffering. It's not life threatening, so I'm going to take care of that.
Absolutely, I know.
So I would remember as an anesthesiologist, there was this man who would come in with an accident, and he had a lot of pain, and he was on the stretcher, and he was crying in the corner. And I felt bad. I said, what can I do? Because he's up for surgery, which is going to be still painful for him. And I said, let me do something. So we do something called as a nerve block. We give injections around the nerve and numb that area.
It numbs the area. Right.
So I gave him a nerve block, and the relief on his face, he was like, And the surgeon came in and he started operating. He asked me, Mahesh bhai, आपने क्या दिया इनको? मैंने बोला, boss, nerve block दिया है, pain नहीं हो रहा उनको. So he was surprised to know that. Otherwise, even the surgeons find it so difficult because they're operating and there's someone shouting, screaming. They also feel so, tied up. It kind of comes in the way of them giving optimum care.
That's right.
So once the pain relief happened, I said,
they're calmer.
They're calmer. And it's so powerful to see that the joy on a person's face when the pain goes
The
down.
change immediately.
Oh, absolutely. See families who say that this face looks different already. And pain affects a lot of things, doesn't it? It affects the way we think. It affects the way we interact with our loved ones.
And even, I think pain also affects the curative process at times.
Absolutely.
It does.
We had I'll interrupt.
Yes,
We had a
please.
patient who had come in with throat cancer, and he was supposed to take treatment for cure.
Right.
And because of the radiation, he had a lot of ulcers. He had pain.
Understandable.
So he says that मैंने कुछ treatment नहीं कराना. I'm going home. The family brought him to me. The oncologist referred and said, can we treat his pain?
Yes.
He said, I'm not taking any further treatment. I'm going home. All this is, and he was just so much away from cure. I said, it's up to you. Nobody's going to stop you. Please feel free to go home. Just take these medicines for your pain, and then the rest is up to you. He took those medicines. 2 weeks, there was no news from him. 2 weeks later, he comes in with a sheepish smile. He says,
that's
"हाँ, treatment करवा लिया, लग रहा है."
But that is so fulfilling to even see. That kind of feedback is so fulfilling.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Wow. In moments, again, addressing what you just said, in moments of great pain, you often become the voice of calm. And I've seen that firsthand. Can you share a story where hope shone brightest in a difficult situation?
I have a story where, and it's more about, it's about grace. It's about how people handle themselves, and there are actually two examples, and both of these are related to people who are terminal. When we look at terminal illnesses and we look at pain, I was abroad and I had come to India for a break. And when I returned back to my hospital, there was one lady who I used to treat regularly, and she was afraid of needles.
Oh.
She was afraid of needle pricks. She was afraid of anything
Oh my God. Okay.
that would cause pain. And she was in an advanced state of disease, and because the cancer had spread to an extent, and she was bedridden, and she was almost semi-comatose, and she's asleep. She's not talking to anyone. The only response she would have is if anyone would try to move or do things, she would be in pain and she would grimace and things like that. So that was not a great experience. And the family, when they saw me, they said, Dr. Menon, you were on leave and we just need to help out with this.
Right.
So I came, but I remember every time she would come to my OPD, I would tell her family and tell her that nobody is going to do anything to you without what you want, So you're the boss. And we would have banter, we would laugh. And this kept happening. So when I saw her and she was not responsive for the last 3 days, she has not communicated, not opened her eyes. So I put my hand on her head and I just said, look, we're going to make sure that you have no pain. We're going to do all the things that are going to keep you comfortable. And I'll tell them not to do anything that will poke you or prick you or cause pain.
Right.
And I said, you're the boss. And then I looked at the family. I said, we are going to give her medicines which will help her. And I looked at the family. And as I look at the family, everyone's jaw is open. I said, I don't know what happened. And I looked back at her. She was smiling.
Oh my God.
And this is the first communication she has had in the last 3 days.
I've got goosebumps. You've spoken. I literally got goosebumps. My goodness.
And
Oh.
I was like, the doctors had, all the critical care doctors, everyone had told her that she had 24, 48 hours or so.
Oh my God. Okay.
But for that family, that assurance, that medicine, and we started on medicines that kept her pain free. The next 24, 48 hours was so smooth and so comfortable, so much relief, so much dignity and so much joy. Then I thought to myself that this lady could have, she didn't, that amount of energy that she had, she still had the grace to smile for me for what she said. And that made a lot of sense. I said that even in these times, people have so much light within them.
That's
and
true.
that comes out. And again, as I said, we look at all the negative things around.
Right.
But as a species, we are capable of doing so many things. So I just feel, I had this patient from one of the from an international country who spoke Hindi. So he said, जब आप जैसे doctors काम करते हैं तो इसीलिए मुझे लग रहा है.
Correct.
So I feel that we can spread these messages about the good things that are being done and the differences that patients also bring to the
Absolutely.
interaction, and there's so many things we can do for families. And the second, of course, is one lady who I'm just asking her, how are you, and she says again, are you okay? She's 90 years old and she says, I'm fine, she says. And okay, any problem? No. And then she goes back to sleep. Again, I turn back, families like, doctor, you're the first person she's spoken to in 3 days. But I feel that I was just an incidental finding there, because it was her way of communicating to the family that they are doing the best for them.
Right.
And that gives a lot of peace and closure.
That's right.
Because the thing about this is we don't talk about suffering. We don't want to talk about natural processes, and we make it more complicated.
We do. we do.
So-
I think medical science, as advanced as it is, sometimes for a patient and the family, it can get a little technical, and then they don't want that, especially at that stage. As you know, helpful. I mean, I'm sure that you come from, of course, the entire medical background is so helpful in its own way, but in this side, that empathy a little bit makes such a big difference. And I think you do that work, doctor. You're more of a light worker than a doctor. So, this, I think, again, I know we're talking about it, but what role does dignity and small joy play in bringing light to the patients and families? You just said it all.
Yes. And we had a patient who was not eating much, and he says, again, he 90 years old, and he lived a life like a king, and he wants to just be comfortable, wants to eat well,
Right.
and the family is like, Doc, yeah, can I ask you one thing? I said, yes. Dad always used to have some beer in the evening, and I asked him what he'll have. He says only beer. I said, like, look, if he's not eating anything, it's something that he wants to have. It's his wish.
Give it.
Let's give something. Let's
That's
fulfill his
right.
wish and keep him happy. Next I see is the family's given him beer. They're taking a video, and they say, Doc, he's actually eaten something. After 3 days, he had something.
Oh my God.
In no way am I endorsing alcohol as a doctor. But what I mean to say is that
Yes.
medicine applies to disease processes,
Absolutely.
but we are much more than that. And you know, we're just not looking at disease processes. We are looking at humanity.
That's
and
true.
I'm a human being first and a doctor second. And when we come into this, the whole idea is, are we treating the person or labeling this human being as a patient and restricting our field of vision?
That's very true.
So if you look at this person as what they would like to do and what it means to them, I think it gives a lot more dignity. And
You're
I mean,
right.
all of us would want to be treated the way we perceive ourselves as, you know, the importance we
Agreed.
want ourselves to be given. And that is robbed, you know, no matter how big the hospital is, that is robbed from us the moment we step into a hospital, because
Absolutely.
it's about so that's why whenever I'm training junior doctors, I tell them, you know, they say, sir, bed number 17. It sounds very cliched, but I said,
I
yes, the
know.
name, you know.
Yes,
It's important
you're
to know
right.
the name. It's not bed 17.
You are right. Absolutely. In fact, I think it's a very rare conversation I've had with someone from your field. And this gives so much, you know, encouragement. I'm sure to even the person who's going to come to you for anything, that I am going to be treated as a human being, not as a number.
Yeah, so
How do you help families see that palliative care is not about giving up, but about giving more?
I think I'm going to steal that line and use it.
You
and I'm
should.
going to say that palliative care is not about giving up, it's about giving more. You're right. What happens is, maybe about when you look at disease processes and linear outcomes, कि एक ही चीज़ है, या तो ठीक हो रहे हो या तो ठीक नहीं हो रहे हो.
Correct.
Tell me, when you step out of your house and it's the rainy season and you're not carrying an umbrella,
Right.
you know it's the rainy season, you had a plan, you were supposed to go to a party and you just have to walk in an uncovered area about 50 meters to your car, and it's raining, it's pouring cats and dogs, and then you wonder, I wish I had my umbrella with me.
Correct.
You planned for the party, you planned what to wear, you planned what you're going to talk to people, who you're going to meet, looking forward to all those things, the good stuff.
Right.
You didn't plan for that one thing which was so obvious.
Correct.
That's the same in medicine. People come to hospital and optimism is correct.
Right.
And you look at good outcomes. But you don't prepare and plan
In
for
case.
what can you do if things don't go your way.
Right.
How are you going to take care of those who you love best when things don't go the way you've planned? It does not mean think only negative thoughts.
Right.
But being prepared
yes.
helps, because if you know that if this doesn't work, what's the next step? Have that knowledge, have that information.
Right.
I have seen families where people have been so ill, nobody's had a conversation with them, and they've been sick, and then the families are asking, he has to make a will, his children are young, he has lent money to some people, things like that. And they don't know about that. That's a very practical financial matter.
Agreed.
Now you want to talk about it, but you don't want to talk about it when he's hale and hearty and strong, so that it'll help him.
Right.
Now, if you can imagine, if that person is now going through this, he has to also fight the disease process and take this stress.
Oh my God. Yes.
So
yes.
this is why we talk about palliative care coming in at a point where we talk about the complete plan, that this is the way forward and these are the options, these are the treatment plans. And at the same time, the message at the end of all of this is, the disease part is only so much that we are going to look at. The rest is, if there is things you like to do, please continue to do that.
Right.
So our objective, I'll give an example. If someone has a disease like cancer, unfortunately because of the advances in science, what happens is there is so much fixation on all the technical aspects of it.
True.
That their sole purpose in life is कि आज हमें उठना है, आज हमें and I have to wait for next 1 week till I go for my next chemo.
Right.
So that point between point A and point B, there's hardly any natural life left, you know.
That's true.
So we have to ensure that that person has so many roles. That person could be a mother, that person could be a father, that person could be a partner to someone, or a parent to someone, you know, a child to someone, a professional. All those roles are robbed away just by the disease process.
Absolutely.
So another cliched line is, जब आपका लाइफ में से आराम निकल जाता है,
Right.
तब आप बेचैन होते हो, तो आपकी लाइफ इजी नहीं होती है.
Right.
तो ये जब सारे चीज होते हैं, उसको हम डिजीज.
Oh my God,
Cancer is
yes.
not the disease. It's
Yes.
these factors that are the disease.
True.
And as a doctor, as a specialist, there is no bandwidth to deal with these elements.
Correct.
Not that I have it, but at least I have a team.
True.
I'm not a counselor. I wasn't born a counselor. I haven't been trained for it. But I at least know that this family requires counseling. I'm not a
Yes.
physiotherapist, but I know they require physiotherapy. So I can implement a grand plan for them
Right.
and make sure that there is good comfort given scientifically.
Right.
Then there are people who have spiritual strengths.
True.
We call in spiritual, and India is such a fantastic heritage of
True. Absolutely.
spiritual strength and wisdom.
Yes.
मतलब
Very
इतना
true.
wisdom इधर है. I'll share an example. In Hinduism, I've heard about this temple which I went to because I want to see it firsthand, which was
Right.
the Mahakaleshwar temple in Ujjain.
Oh, lovely.
And the line is, Mahakal is the lord of time and the lord of death, and there is a
True.
bhasmarti which is done with ashes just to symbolize how, you know, life and death
Life
is all
and death
about,
is-
you know, it's just. So the acceptance,
It's cyclical.
and the understanding of life and death. If you look in all cultures,
All cultures. Yes, absolutely.
people have been discussing this for the longest time because it's the biggest fear.
It is.
In the jungle, you're not afraid of the lion; you're afraid of being killed by the lion.
True. You're right. The focus is always on the other thing. Yes.
So
But you know, doctor, having said that about palliative care, there are many, let's say, the commoners who are not from the medical profession, who don't even know about the existence of palliative care. We know about oncologists, we know about, the doctors, surgeons, we know about
Correct.
everything. This is a field which is so important, so important, where the common man who's entering a hospital for any particular purpose, for themselves, for their families, they're not even aware that something like this exists. Don't you think this role needs a little more, I can't say, it needs a little more voice?
absolutely. So advocacy and, you know, platforms where we
Absolutely.
come together like this, that makes a huge impact on spreading
Right.
the word. There are people who have been shouting their throats hoarse for the
Yes.
last decade plus or so, me included. I'll give a simple example about how people relate to my job. I used to work in an organization where if someone would ask, okay, Dr. Mahesh Menon की OPD कहाँ है? So they ask the security guard and says, हाँ हमारे वो पेन किलर है.
Oh my God.
And then this person goes in the corridor and says, उनकी OPD कहाँ है? And that housekeeping
Oh
person,
God.
हाँ साहब ते पेन क्लीनर साहेब आहे तिकडे.
Oh my
So I'm the pain
goodness.
cleaner.
You're a pain.
I'm the pain killer.
Oh God.
So
It's quite literal, but too literal.
it relates. So people know
Yeah.
what I do in essence.
Yes.
And the interesting part is if I have a conversation and I tell them, so this is my role. I'm going
Right.
to take care of your pain. I'm going to make sure there is no suffering, or try to do my best. I'm going to do this, and then they, for some reason, isn't my regular doctor supposed to do all that? And I have to tell them that that's how far science has grown.
Exactly.
That we can reach that molecule, that
Right.
gene, and we can treat it now.
Absolutely.
So, at the middle of all of this, if that specialist has that particular gene in mind and they can work on it, and they have to spend time with a family where they have to
Precisely.
make a plan like
Yes.
this, they're actually taking
Diverting.
time away from one person they can cure.
Right.
That's why a team is needed. So palliative care comes in and fills that deficiencies that are brought
Right.
about by modern medicine.
Absolutely.
And I hope sincerely that palliative care becomes extinct in the next few years as we are able to find more and more cures for diseases.
You're right.
But till such a time, someone needs to do this job.
And it's
We
more
need to-
holistic.
Absolutely.
It's wholesome. I mean, the care that a patient gets when they enter a space is more wholesome when they know now this person is going to take care of this particular side and this doctor is taking care of the entire being more than anything else with your psychological help, counseling, nutrition, anything, pain.
Absolutely. So, just a statistic that will be, that you may share is that less than 2% of people with advanced cancers and advanced illnesses in India have access to palliative care.
Oh my God, that's very less.
That's less than 2%.
That's
So, and if you can imagine the extent of the need for palliative medicine, and it's not that you need to be a palliative care specialist to do it. You can do
Right.
general palliative care,
Right.
at least rope in a few physicians who can help out. Make sure that people are counted. And there are, of course, fortunately, there are postgraduates coming in now, and things are
Correct.
looking better than it was 10 years ago. But we still have a long way to go.
because this is mostly in the tier 1 cities. Is it even there in the other cities to a large extent?
There are some centers in India who have done remarkable work. There are brilliant patches of palliative care in different areas. One of the models is, of course, in the state of Kerala, where they have a fantastic network in palliative care,
Correct.
pioneering work done by Dr. Rajgopal. There's a huge setup there which does brilliant work. And then there are multiple organizations, multiple hospitals which have palliative care. So I would, if I am here and I'm speaking as a palliative care specialist, I also want to be the voice for all my colleagues in this fantastic field who are doing it. And there are many unsung heroes, many doing their work quietly.
Correct.
But it's a voice for all of them because they are doing a great job, and it's a shout out to them also. You're doing good.
That's actually quite encouraging, I'm sure. Pain relief is often the first step to attaining dignity. Can you share a story where easing pain opened the door to joy, laughter, or peace for the patient or family? You spoke about a patient who actually enjoyed his sip of beer, or the other patient who smiled. I'm sure there must be so many more stories and incidents.
Absolutely. We have stories from different walks of life and different age
Absolutely.
groups. Some stand out in particular. I mean, for some reason, my mind goes back to a woman who I had seen with. She had cervical cancer. The uterus, and it was a cancer that had affected her to a large extent, and she was in pain, so much so that she couldn't sit.
Oh my God.
And I had gone to the operation theatre when I came back, because I do pain management with injections and we block nerves and do fancy stuff also in the OT. So when I came back and I saw her sitting outside my room, she wasn't sitting, she was just lying down on the chair. 3 benches, and she's lying down on them because she can't sit.
Oh my God.
And the surgeon who'd referred her to me called me up and says, Mahesh, can you help me out with this lady? She's in a lot of distress. I'm feeling bad when I see her. I feel so helpless. I'm the one who operated on her. The cancer has come back. She needs to take some radiation. She needs to take some chemo. She's not doing well. What can we do? So I took her to the operation theatre. I gave her an injection. There are some nerves which were going from the cancer to the spinal cord and just giving pain ka signal. So I just cut those nerves with a process using
Absolutely,
injections.
yes.
So these are useless nerves now, and they are not serving any useful function. They are just causing immense pain. So I blocked those nerves. So after these nerves were blocked, the pain reduced as expected, and put her on some medicines. And then after about 2 weeks for the follow-up, I am there in my OPD. I'm sitting there, there's a knock on the door, and her husband walks in, and I said, please sit. And I'm sure she's probably at home lying down, and she's resting. And this very beautiful lady walks in, and she makeup, and have I seen this? I've seen her, maybe her sister, maybe her daughter, maybe. She says, kaise hai Dr. Saab? I said,
Oh my God.
I didn't recognize you, that's the amount of. And then I said, do one thing for me, just go and meet your surgeon. Just go and meet the surgeon who referred. The surgeon was so happy. He called me, Mahesh, yaar, tune kiya kya? Are she's so
Miracle worker.
No. I mean, I would give all credit to the patient to
Yes,
having. I mean,
that's right.
I'm a good doctor, very good one. But I'd just say that it was also, how she bounced from
Yes.
that. All you need to give a small push, and they're back on their feet. There's this girl from. She's a doctor from. I believe she'd come in from Nigeria, and she'd gone to the US, to one of the premier institutes, where they had said we couldn't do anything further for her. She came in, only 25 years old, herself a doctor.
Right.
I treated her something similar, and then she went on to take treatment, and it was experimental at that time, but it worked for her. It cured her cancer.
Wow.
And she's in complete remission. It's about 8+ years. And she sent me an email last year saying that, Doc, I've written a book and I've given some credits to you in it.
How lovely.
So she wanted my permission. I said, go ahead. These voices need to be heard. So that book is
Absolutely.
available on Amazon. So
Oh, amazing.
yes. And
Please,
so
I want to know the name of the book. I'm going to get it.
yeah, it's the rooftop. It's from the rooftop. I'll share that with you.
Please
I'll
do.
share it. Yeah.
Please do. For many, pain management is seen purely as a medical process. But in your work, how do you combine empathy with the medical aspect, to bring true relief and comfort?
So I think empathy is, it's difficult, because if you have empathy, you also open yourself up to vulnerability. You're going to be This is all for the doctors out there. Empathy is great, and you need to empathize with the patient, but you can't be empathetic to the extent that you start sympathizing, you start drowning with their sorrows, because that affects your quality of care. So self-care is important. Taking a break, talking to colleagues, getting your head in the right place, because you got to do it on a daily basis for the next many years. So empathy is, it's has to be there, because if you can't understand what they are going through or can't attempt to understand,
yes, of course.
So at least koshish karo. Dekho yaar, look at, like I give this example, that a woman who comes to the clinic with a tennis elbow problem is not someone who says that I have extensor carpi problem, I want a surgery done.
Yes.
She's coming in because she was making 4 chapatis, her son's grown bigger, he's having 6 chapatis now. Those 2 chapatis are where her elbow's hurting.
It's as generic as that. Yes,
So I said,
for them, for all of us.
Either I go home and make those 2 extra chapatis, or I get rid of the pain. So I need to fix that to help her to be able to do the things she wants to do.
Right.
So understanding their point of view. And again, a lot of patients tell me, Doctor Saab, my doctor told me it is kuch khas nahi hai. So I also want you to remember that kuch khas nahi hai also reflects their experience with the real difficult ones. Like when a spine surgeon sees a patient, somewhere in their minds they're also thinking of, they're relieved that, all right, it's not a bad, cancer problem in your spine. It's not like your spine's fractured.
Right.
It's just a small disc. The problem is that small disc can be really problematic.
In future, yes, of course.
It can be very debilitating for the person.
Right, absolutely.
So that's where my job comes in, to tell them that I understand that it's a small thing, but we are not belittling your problems.
Right.
We are not saying ki ye kuch nahi hai. Our job is to make sure that with this, how are you going to proceed to getting back to your life?
Right.
So that putting the fish back in water. So that's the idea. Again, we had a very some of the dark ages in medicine was where in pain medicine especially, was when people would start taking a lot of medications to suppress the pain, and that went on to an epidemic in the US. Indian patients are not like that. Like, so I have patients who I tell them dawa leni padegi, and they said nahi, main goli nahi leta. ठीक है, exercise karo. So that lady says nahi doctor, main married hu.
What?
Exercise. So,
yes, it's the mindset.
Okay, तो एक काम कर सकते हैं, थोड़ा stretching exercise नहीं. So I am like thinking, what else? Injection लगेगा? अरे injection तो हम कभी नहीं लगे. तो मैंने बोला, how do you want me to help you, you know?
Right.
So, यहाँ आ जाइए, यहाँ पे गणपति जी की मूर्ति, हम दोनों बैठते हैं, चलो साथ में. So this is the best we can do right now.
Oh my goodness.
So I keep telling patients to remember that just listen to your body.
Right.
You have the signals in your body for a reason. And report those to us with accuracy, so that we can help you help yourself.
Absolutely.
There are some conditions where I need to step in and take charge and knock off nerves and all of that.
Right.
My surgery colleague needs to come in, remove the disc, fix the bones, etc. But for a majority of problems, they are self-limiting, they can be taken care of. The whole idea is to empower the patient.
Correct.
And then there are other complex behaviors, like people may have their other baggage that they're carrying with them, so uske wajah se their response to pain might be affected.
Right.
So to help them create a positive response to the pain,
correct,
and get out of this hole that
which
they find themselves in,
yes.
That's our job.
And so the most important one, I believe. Have you ever had a patient who taught you something profound, about courage or joy?
Many.
I'm sure.
Many. That's what I said. So every few days there is someone who comes into my life and teaches me something about life, and they are, I think, much better spiritual leaders than I can find, I guess. I remember the first patient that I had treated with a mouth cancer, and I treated him. I'd given an injection for the pain. He was from rural Maharashtra, and he was sitting there. And after the injection, he said that, look, he told his son literally that I'm in so much pain that I just want to, call it a day. I just want to end my life. I'm in that much pain. Either you do something like that, or, take me to a doctor, do something.
Right.
So they came all the way to Mumbai, where I gave them an injection. This was more than 15 years ago. I gave him an injection because his cancer had spread. So I gave him that injection, the pain went down.
Correct.
And I could see him, he was sitting outside the clinic, and there's a bench there outside the clinic. So instead of sitting on the clinic, he was squatting on it and having the same way he would have tea. So he had a biscuit and he was having that. And I saw that, and his son was looking at him happily. He said, Dr. Saab, आता 2 आठवड्यानंतर आता पहिल्यांदा खाता है. And he's like, first time he's eating it. So I was great, and I was very happy to see that. And then I said, this is me, a much younger version of myself. So I'm like putting my hand on his shoulder. I said, Uncle, Zindagi. And I go into a monologue where life is. So he says, Dr. Saab, को जो सर्जन ने ऑपरेट किया था उन्होंने बोला 2 महीना बाकी है, मैंने 5 साल निकाल लिया है, दर्द कम करो, मैं और 5 साल निकाल लूंगा. So he's like, mind your business, I'll take care of it.
Yeah, oh my
So
goodness.
you see so many people who are so robust in their that
Thinking.
resilient,
Yes,
the way
very
they handle
resilient.
problems is inspiring. I said, yeah,
Absolutely.
need to learn these things.
It's an ongoing process, no? Always. If you could redesign India's healthcare, how would you ensure every patient has access to compassionate palliative care?
Fantastic question. So let's do some blue, green, dark, or whatever colors of shade of sky thinking, and try to understand how we can implement it.
Right.
I would just feel that we need to invest in primary care, the
Right.
care that is available at the grassroots.
Correct.
Because preventive medicine forms the backbone of everything.
True.
We reach the doctor when the cholesterol is high,
Right.
the sugars are high, and there is an impending heart attack. But all of that could have been prevented with 5 years ago
Correct.
had we just followed the right things. And we have all the resources.
Right.
Our land is amazing. We have great food that can be produced on our land.
True.
We are blessed by nature. We can just live comfortably and be happy and healthy.
True.
We have a lot of, as I said, cultural strength, spiritual strength, wisdom we have.
Right.
But somewhere there is this gap between that and reaching a person, the citizen of the country, whoever lives there. We often say that it's because of a large population. I don't agree. I feel that our population is our strength. We have so many people,
Yes.
and I've lived abroad and I come back here and I feel comfortable because this is my house.
Absolutely. Yes.
I feel strong here because
Our
these are my
roots.
people. I'm part of this.
Right.
Having said that, I feel it has to start from the ground level. We need to have more doctors in primary care. Once you have that, then it filters out a lot of other references. And then by the time you have a super specialist. So a super specialist in India technically would be spending quite a lot of time doing generalist work also. Because
True.
they are famous, they'll get a lot of patients who are like, this is not my surgery, you don't need this surgery. But because I am popular, you have come to me just to hear it from them, you know.
Absolutely.
That could have been managed one tier below.
True.
So we and that again takes away their time to do some really groundbreaking surgical things which can push the boundaries of medicine further,
True. You're right.
where they can do amazing work in medicine. We can be the leaders in research in our country. So to get that going, that starts here.
That strata has to be filled. That
We
gap
are
has to be filled.
We are an inverted pyramid right now. You know,
True.
we are trying to.
Absolutely.
So someone called me. I have a home care service, and I do that by the side to help
Right.
people. So someone called me for a doctor. Says, doctor, can you send a family physician? I said, I can send a Bengal tiger to your house. It's easier to find that than to find a family doctor now. And I've been a GP, I've been a family physician, so I know that
Right.
species is becoming more extinct.
Yes.
Save
I
the
think
tiger,
this-
nahi, save the GP.
because specialization has become such a I think it's more magnetic right now than
Yes, yes,
just
yes.
a GP. They say
And that's-
just a GP, but it's so important.
Absolutely, and family medicine is again another wonderful branch. A lot of people who are entering it and doing great work here.
Right.
Mumbai has access to it. As I said, there are brilliant examples, and I hope that all those students who are doing medicine who take this up, and if someone just chances upon this, they get inspired to do a lot of good things. You
True.
can make a difference. Again, as I said, there's a reason I came back to India. Is
Right.
somewhere there is that romanticism, you call it, or patriotism, whatever you call it. We want to make that difference because this is us. This is all of us.
And I'm
My
so
family,
glad because
yeah.
we do come with a lot of intelligence, and our DNA is, as it is said, to a lot of intelligent output of what we've learned. So thank God for people like you who come back to our country. What breakthroughs or practices give you hope for the future of the field?
So earlier, palliative medicine was restricted by, it was more charitable in nature, which it should
Right.
be, and more kindness, compassion.
Absolutely.
But kindness and compassion without good medical care
True.
is empty. That kindness, compassion,
It's hollow. Yeah.
and we need to also help out with it. So that's where a lot of breakthroughs in medicine. So we have better ways of delivering medicines.
Correct.
So earlier we would have only tablets, but now we have, the last couple of decades we've had skin patches which help.
Right.
So we have had injectable mechanisms that help. There is a lot of pain management that helps. So we can do interventions. We have what is called as a point of care ultrasound, where you can check with that ultrasound there and give an injection in the clinic if you have a registered center, where you can take care of pain immediately, so that the patient or the person who's dealing with this problem doesn't have to pop in pills and things
True.
like that. This is just with my field in pain, clinical pain and pain medicine. There in rehabilitation, there are so many strategies which have come up. Psycho-oncology has developed. People are talking about spiritual care and doing research into it.
Absolutely. Yes.
So a lot of things are happening over here which are helping. There are companies are coming up with new molecules which can target different pathways. Like people who may have, say, nausea and vomiting, there are better medicines coming in. Again, the challenge is to the financial aspect, because a lot of these molecules are available in the global north.
Right.
So I'm talking about that person who comes to my OPD, say from the interiors of our country. Where do we get those medicines for them from?
Right.
So we need to make sure that that medicine is practiced at this level.
Correct.
Otherwise, it might as well be on Mars.
Absolutely. In fact, and our population maximum is not from the strata that we, is going to have access to that. Now, to get it to that, literally the grassroots level is quite a task.
Yes, and that's where the government hospitals and all of them are
Right.
coming in, and they are playing a huge role in making sure that a lot of standard care is. That gives me a lot of hope. So every day when I'm on, say, LinkedIn or any of the social networks, and I see people entering pain medicine, palliative care, I've seen where it was, say, 17 years ago, and I didn't have opportunities to train. I had to go to Singapore and come back.
Right.
And I see all that, and it helps. It helps to see
It's
what's
grown.
happening now.
It's
Absolutely,
grown.
it's good.
How do you envision a society where conversations about care, compassion, and dignity become normal?
Again, we assume that, a lot of this is medicine,
Right.
but medicine is just a part that relates to the illness in that individual, but the social parameters. I'll give you a simple example. Take a 90-year-old and we tell them, uncle, aap thoda hai na walking karo. Like, kahan walk kare? Where you tell me where to walk? If I'm driving in the mornings, I see more people walking on the road because the pavement and the rains and the slipperiness, so that becomes a problem. So there are social parameters. Access, for example, if the wheelchair can't access their house, even if you have an elevator, there are first 6 steps to the elevator.
True.
How are you going to do that? So those small things to be more inclusive in our thought, to make sure that we are able to think of all those people. It's not available even in a herbs prima like our Mumbai. So
very true. I agree.
So I think it's sometimes simpler when you have a simple, because as it takes a village to
Very
care for
true.
all. So it's not just to
It's a
raise a
collective
child.
effort. It's a collective effort.
And these are the social domains that doctors don't speak about much, because we say hum apna kaam karenge, but we have to talk to people and say we need this help.
Right.
So we need this help to make sure that we can access people.
Correct.
We need this help to make sure that people can get access to medicine.
Yes.
And how are you, the able-bodied, healthy individual, making that change for your colleague?
Absolutely.
And you're not waiting for it to be, someone I know or someone I love.
True.
How are you going to do it when,
it's a third person.
Third person.
Yes.
So that kind of a vision to be inclusive for everybody, to think of everyone else. And again, that comes from empathy. That's a social concept.
Absolutely, yes.
So doctors, and I feel a lot of doctors beating themselves, or unke paas paise nahi hai dawa lane. This is beyond our reach. We can't do much about it. And we are not responsible for it. I mean, we are as citizens, but not as doctors. Maybe as in our role as citizens, maybe we are here. But we are all in this together. We have to find solutions together. So there's a lot of social things that can be done.
Absolutely.
And again, people listening to this who can make those. If you see, health is the most sensitive topic in our country, and in any country, and if you can make a difference in people's lives through health,
before it hits
much
you,
goodwill. There's so much goodwill, so much blessings.
True, and you're right. It normally tends to happen only when it either hurts yourself or a loved one, and that's the sad part of it, that we don't have empathy from the beginning, and it is difficult. It is basic. It's normal human nature that जब अपने तक नहीं आती है, we are very relaxed about it.
And to an extent that we don't have to, not everybody has to enter medicine and do all of that.
Not
it's just
at all.
to be aware of these things. If you can make roads more accessible, you can make playgrounds where they can go and walk a little, exercise a little, do the good things that will help them heal.
Yes.
Focus on preventive medicine, focus on your own health.
True.
Healthy practices, those things as a collective, if we look at
wholesome.
Yeah.
Now, when the days are heavy, what thoughts or practices restore your hope?
I read, I write, I do my doom scrolling, and then I uninstall the app, and I said, no, I will not look at these apps. They're just giving me negativity. I talk to friends. And I have been lucky and I've been blessed to meet good people every time.
Right.
Every time life gets difficult, there is, call it chance, call it serendipity, there is someone or something that comes my way which kind of boosts me.
Correct.
So it's not that we have a fair share of stresses, but good things happen. So that's helping me
maintains the balance.
Yes.
If you could leave one mantra of hope for families and doctors alike, what would it be?
The only one mantra is that we focus on quality of life at all times. and we do things for people based on what they would want
Right.
rather than what we want. So we try to do things for families and people based on what is their preference. So focusing on quality of life, because we look at things like if we talk about death, but death is like a point.
True.
It's a full stop. It's just an end. But that 1-2 seconds before death was also life.
True.
So we are focusing on every point, even till the last second, just being present
Right.
for the person, for the family, makes a world of difference.
I know.
Not abandoning people. If I just think of this one mantra, then I would summarize it like be present and focus on quality of life at all times.
Absolutely. And it's so important for everybody involved, not only the person who's dealing with it, but families too. Absolutely. Now, our final question. What is behind Dr. Mahesh Menon's strength?
So sometimes it's coffee.
Most important, absolutely.
I think it's, I always think that it's something that probably my parents have given me.
Yes.
And I need to, and as I said, I was lucky to select the parents that I got born to. So I had them. And I met a lot of friends along the way who helped shape my thoughts.
True.
My wife, my son.
How sweet.
There are a lot of people who've just shaped the way I think about the world, you know. So whenever things get dark and gloomy, there are people who I said, you know, keep coming. So I think it's all about the people.
It's collective.
It's collective. I can be lonely and driving
Right.
my Lexus, which I was looking at the ocean, and you know, but I was lonely.
True.
And here I am in company. I'm stuck in traffic. Sab horn baja rahe, bajao, thoda aur bajao.
Yeah.
I was missing. You know, I'm not. I hate it. But
It's the woes.
but it's being. I think it's just people. It's just people, and some of it, of course, is the values that have been given to me, but it's that and people.
Very insightful. Thank you, Dr. Menon. It has been
thank
such a fabulous conversation. So many levels, and now I know why all your patients are so fond of you. And they want you to keep coming back, even if there's nothing.
No,
So,
So I just joked with someone, you know. So she said, "Doctor, next follow-up कब है? हमें दर्द नहीं है, लेकिन हम आना चाहते हैं." मैं बोला, "आंटी, मैं बिलिंग करूँगा. हम चलेगा, आप हमसे पैसे ले
हाँ,
लो."
so sweet.
So then I said, ठीक है, आंटी, because you know, I love you for free, but for the consult, I'll charge you.
No, but it's always, I mean, it's been a pleasure. This conversation has been great. No, thank you very much. Thank you.
And I hope that, you know, there are more people who can, you know, talk about this.
Yes, it's
start
important.
These conversations. And thank you for doing this.
No, an honor for us, literally. Thank you.